Hey everybody, I'm off work today. I'm in Times Square and I'm in control of the show. What could go wrong?
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Hello everybody. Welcome to No Vacancy Live on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. Producer Dave here, coming to your screen. I have control today. I know you guys have a lot of questions. What's going on? Where's Glenn? Where's Anthony? Well, rest assured, they are in the back. They're behind the scenes because we're kind of turning the show around a little bit today. I'm going to be stepping into the proverbial host chair. Glenn and Anthony are going to switch to the other side of the table. They're going to be the guests, but I'm going to need some help. There's a piece missing here. I need a co-host. Someone's got to help me. I mean, especially if Glenn and Anthony are going to be our guests. I need some help hosting the show. So who is that co-host going to be? Well, it's going to be you guys. We want you guys out there, all the viewers, to help me co-host the show today. We teased a little while back a show about having a couple fans come on, talk to Glenn and Anthony about how much they like the show, how much the show has really helped keep them engaged. Well, we were thinking about it, we were working through it, and we just couldn't pick out 2 to 3 people because every single one of you are so important to us. So many great fans of this show, and all of you are the reason that No Vacancy Live has been such a great success. So we want to give all of you an opportunity to come on with us, ask Glenn, ask Anthony a question or two. We're going to cycle through, get as many people on as we can. It's a great opportunity to get involved with the show. But listen, if you guys don't want to come on the show, maybe you want to just stay in the comments section, that's fine too. Put your questions in the comments. We're going to make sure they get read as well. We're going to get fully interactive, and we want you guys to be involved. So producer Colleen is going to put a link into the show really quickly. The way that you can.
Colleen's backstage, producer Suzanne.
Producer Suzanne is going to put the link to the show to join us. Make sure you take that link, copy that into your URL in your web browser, and join the show. We'll be sitting backstage, and I'll just pay attention because we're going to have to make sure that we get through quickly. We're not going to read who's coming on next, so you're going to come on at any point. So just be ready to go once you come on. So without further ado, let's bring in the guest of honor, Mr. Glenn Hausman and Mr. Anthony Malcurie. Hey, how does it feel to be brought into your own show?
I didn't realize that Glenn was going to be a country music singer.
Yeah, right. I totally do. Hey, get my new album coming soon. It'll be on the Nashville Records or something like that. It's great because each and every one of my songs is a different chapter in my journey.
Shut up, Glenn. Let's start the show.
Hey, you know what? You're a guest on this show. How dare you do that to someone like producer Dave over there, or host Dave, or right? Is that what you want?
I mean, I guess I'm sitting in the host chair today, so I'm host Dave. I'm putting the producer title away. So listen, guys, we're going to let some people come on soon. We're going to bring them on to ask you guys some questions. We already have somebody in the back, a really special guest for us. But I want to ask you guys a question first.
All right.
A lot of people have said how much they've learned over the years, or over the year and change with this show. I know I've learned a lot. So Anthony, I'm going to start with you. What have you learned about Glenn over the last year doing No Vacancy Live?
Well, I'll tell you what I learned about you. I learned that you should put your mic closer so we can have better sound on you.
You can't hear me?
We can, but the sound is not great. So
yeah, check your cam mic settings. See if you got it set to the other podcast.
Push the mic closer to you. The mic's not close enough.
And this is why I sit in the back typically.
Be sure to check Dave's show. Be our guest, available on YouTube.
What I've learned about Glenn is I don't like a lot of people, but I like Glenn. I mean, I truly like Glenn. Glenn's a guy I'm going to take a bullet for until the day I die. And so I learned that through this process that he's kind of in my group. And I'm very stingy with my group. I don't, like I said, I don't like a lot of people in, and I don't like a lot of people. That may shock some people, but it's true. As you get older, you have very true close friends. And I consider him a close friend, and I would take a bullet for him.
Aw, that's really nice of you to say, Anthony. So, Dave, how's your sound situation going?
You guys tell me, because when I was in the pre-room, it sounded pretty good. You guys said it was sounding pretty well. So, am I not still sounding too great?
It's a little echoey.
I think you need to put the mic closer to your mouth.
I'm not sure how much closer I can get, though.
No, man, I don't think I can work at all.
All right.
I
Well,
don't think
listen.
it likes working.
I'm going to fix this, Glenn. What
Yep.
have you
Well,
learned about Anthony over the last year?
let me answer that same question while you're fixing
Exactly.
that, Mike. And Anthony, truly, it has been an absolute pleasure working with you and getting to know you so much over the last 3 years. Who would have thought that me doing a podcast interview with you many years ago would turn into not just a great working relationship, but a personal relationship too. The thing that I've learned about this guy over here is that he's not nearly as curmudgeonly as he would like people to think he is. Total sweetheart and soft center, but he has high expectations. You don't ever want to mess up those, right? And you know what, Anthony? More important than how great of a person you are, you also make me a better human being. You make me want to rise up to your level, what you've accomplished, and you never let me get away with being a lazy dude. So thanks for that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it's been mutual, and I think it's good for the fans. And when we're talking about the idea of bringing the fans on, it's really important to me because I think we forget. We get so caught up with us and the guest and the show that it's the fans, and we're in the 1%, no less than 1% of all podcasts in the country.
Yes,
right?
1/2 of 1% of all podcasts in the world. How cool!
And you can't do that without loyal, not only great fans, but very, very loyal fans. They give up an hour of their life they'll never get back for us.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Now, Dave, I don't know what you're doing backstage, but I think let's just pop into our first conversation. We've got Colleen Norman. You guys know her from the chat rooms over there. We actually get to finally put a face to the name. Welcome, Colleen. So great to see you.
I'm glad to be here. I'm honored and very humbled that you would ask me to appear on your show.
Colleen, what a privilege it is to have you as one of our top fans. And also, first of all, how are you feeling?
I feel great. Yeah, I'm. It really wiped me out. I'm getting stronger every day. So yeah, I feel good. I mean,
you look great, right? Who would tell if I saw you at the blackjack table at the Hard Rock Tampa down there? I'd be like, hey, that's a strong, healthy person. So you look really terrific.
Yeah, hey, Michael.
So thank you for being our Colleen. So what has the show meant to you in the last year or so?
I get so much enjoyment out of watching the show, out of interacting with the gallery, asking questions. I have learned so much about the hospitality industry that I never dreamed. Of course, I didn't even know anything about it until I was watching Hotel Impossible years ago, and watched them 3 or 4 times each. So if it hadn't have been for that, I never would have even known about this show. I love it. I love the hour or more. Don't you interrupt me, Anthony.
You hear what she said, Glenn? I don't think Glenn heard that.
No, I didn't. Sorry, I was covering.
She said, "Don't interrupt me, Anthony."
Yeah.
Okay, Anthony, your turn. Go ahead.
Listen, it's a pleasure. We get a big smile on our face every time we see you. And again, it's humbling to know that someone likes our show, listens to our show, and I'm glad we can teach you a few things in the hospitality industry. And the one thing that I'd imagine, I'm not going to talk to you, that you enjoy about it is that every day is different. I know the reason I enjoy it. If my daughter asked me this morning, because I had to take her to the doctor for her post-op because she had ACL surgery. And I have to get back for the podcast. And she goes, Dad, do you enjoy doing the podcast? I said, I love doing the podcast. And so I get enjoyment because every day is different. Do you feel the same way? That's always different, Colleen?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I love the different guests you have appearing on your show. I like the different subjects that are discussed on the show every day. I love giving comments when I can. I there's some things you just can't say that you want to say and have fun. I've known her for 46 years. She's my best friend.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you just like Anthony. You have very few friends when you get my age, and she's just awesome. She was the one who stayed with me through all my chemos. after.
Oh, well, yeah, you had mentioned that, and one of the wonderful things, Colleen, is we get to talk even off the show hours, and I really feel like it's people like you that have not just helped us create this community here, but have really helped enrich our lives as well. So it's so nice to talk to you personally.
Well, I appreciate it. I just get I love the show. I eat lunch at 11 or a little after just so I have time to get to the show at 12 and not be interrupted.
That's sweet of you. So, Colleen, do you have a question for Anthony or myself before we let you go?
Yeah, Anthony, my dad, you raised 3 daughters. My mom and dad raised 3 daughters. What was it like?
Well, I'm still raising them.
Wow, they're almost gone.
Well, no, they're still here, very much living in my house. But it's funny. Me and my daughter are having that conversation today in the car. Everybody knows that it's a parent. You wear your heart outside your body as soon as they're born. So Glenn, we all have that self-feeling. So, it's no different than the other parent. I would say being the only male in the house, I lose all the time. And I just happen to, sit in the corner until I'm told to speak.
Yeah, I was a daddy's girl. So, it was really special. Glenn, I don't have a question for you. I just have to tell you that you are an amazing host.
Oh, thank you.
When Anthony is not there, I find it just extraordinary how you can keep a conversation going the whole hour without interruption. I mean, it's like, you know what to say.
Well, I've been at it for a little while, but thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. It means a lot to me because, I used to do like half-hour segments and stuff like that, and then doing the show live for an hour alone really helps stretch, my capabilities. So it's a lot of fun to keep working on that and be better. But Colleen, any final words before we let you go today?
Just that I love the gallery people that I see every day. I love all of you guys. And I'll continue to watch. I love the fact that I'm able to give a little to the hospitality crisis that occurred. I gave what I could. I find it extremely satisfying to give back.
Well, you were so super generous, and we really appreciate all that you do to help support our community.
Listen, I wish I could have given more, really.
Thank you very much. That was very generous of you.
All right, Colleen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you.
Hey, Dave, I'm going to pass it back to you, but I want to just say one thing to everybody. I see there's a lot of people assembling backstage. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to come on the show, it's essential that you have your camera on and your microphone on and all set to go so we could bring you in. We can't bring you in if you don't have those things on. David, I'll shut up. Take it away.
Well, it's funny he says that because I'm the one having the mic troubles. I'm here half an hour early. Everything's working fine. I'm ready to go. I'm waiting for you guys to come on. All of a sudden, my stuff goes bad. And I think it's the show trying to say they want you guys back as the host, but I'm still keeping control. I'm fighting through. So we have another great guest coming on. Producer Suzanne, who are we bringing in next? Mr. Michael Weinberg.
What's up, dude?
Hey, gentlemen.
It's great to see you, Michael.
You know what? It's great to see you guys as well. I have loved this show ever since I got, hooked on it right just after probably when you guys started it, and the interactions, not only during the show, but after the show, in sort of LinkedIn chats. You guys are so generous with your time and with your information, and you put together a great show. And I'm really appreciative.
I'm a co-host of the show, so thank you. So what do you do? What is your career?
So I have spent 20 plus years before what I call the pandemic pause. Spent 10 years most recently with Hilton at selling four hotels for Hilton, managed assets for Hilton in the international and domestic leisure side. And then before that, had a career in the tourism and travel industry, working for Amtrak and United and the Travel Industry Association, which is now U.S. Travel Destination DC. So it's a whole big assortment of travel, tourism, and hospitality experience.
Well, I can tell because your questions are always so specific and always very relevant. And you seem to be the person that we kind of go to the most as far as questions because you always have good ones.
Thank you. And you know what? I appreciate the candor with which you guys answer those questions and get the guests to answer them as well. And that's what's so engaging about this podcast is that we're encouraged to ask questions, no matter how particular it is to our industry, but also things that we want to know about your guests, and you take those questions, and I find that just absolutely awesome. And this is a must watch for me. I have learned so much.
So what's the one thing you learned? Is there anything that stands out that you're like, wow, I didn't realize that?
There's a quote that you gave once, Anthony, that was something like, you're in the hotel business, but you need to be in the business of hotels. And being in the hotel, as a salesperson, I understand only a certain part of that. It's the hotel business. And what I've really learned is the business of hotels watching this show, what ownership is thinking, what general managers are thinking, aside from those interactions that I would have with general managers on a salesperson to general manager basis. Those are the kinds of things, investing, the CMBS loans, I think they're called. Had no idea what that was all about. It's these things that both the layperson like Colleen and me, the hospitality professional, can get from you guys. That's so awesome.
That's probably the best compliment you can give us.
Yeah. Totally. I absolutely agree. It really means a lot because we really try to break down these complex issues and make them easily understandable for all of us to be able to process. And I got to tell you, Michael, I'm learning right along with you every single day on this show because the guests are so fantastic and so open and honest in such a way that I've never seen before in my entire career. So kudos not only everyone participating in the chat rooms, but to people who come on and allow themselves to be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
Michael, you're one of the people that makes, you bring so much great content, so many great questions. Anthony was alluding to that before. So again, right now, you're my co-host, right? Anthony and Glenn are the guests. So do you have anything you want to ask Mr. Melchior or Mr. Houseman?
Oh my goodness. I knew you were gonna ask that.
I warned you.
I know. I was still trying to think. I would ask you, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a person, but what's what actually for both of you? What have each of you learned professionally as a result of this show? Because I think both of you say that you don't have all the answers, but you surround yourself with good people and get good information. What have each of you learned from your guests during the time that you've been doing the show?
Anthony?
You first, Glenn.
All right. That's a professional delay tactic.
I have my answer, but I'm just trying to be a gentleman.
No, I really don't. I need to process it for a minute. If you have an answer, go for it.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to stump you on your own show.
It's all good.
It's a very easy question for me.
Yeah.
Everything. I learned everything. I learned from real estate to CMBS loans like you. I knew what they were, but I've learned a greater in-depth knowledge of them. I've learned from everything from cleaning, techniques to how brands interact with each other, how management companies see ownership, how they see brands, what's important for, like yesterday on the show with the gentleman, like I wanted to know from his position as vice president, I wanted to know, one of the biggest management companies in the world, what is your biggest concern between ownership and between brands? And he basically laid it out there. It was the capital, like making sure that the brands understand the owners don't have the capital. Yes, did I understand that? But I had a greater understanding that is in the forefront, and that's the number one priority. So I learn everything every day. And just because I've been in the business a long time, I know 1% of the business. And that's probably more than most in the business because it's impossible to know too much because you're in your own little world. So this is really, I was saying to my daughter this morning, I feel like me and Glenn are the biggest expert in the industry because every single day we're talking to the best and the brightest in the industry. So I can't imagine many people having more knowledge than us. And it's simply because we're getting educated, not because we know, we're getting educated.
That's awesome. That's really interesting to hear.
Yeah, Michael, it's super hard to really think about very specific things I've learned professionally. But one thing I have learned about professionals during this last year is how hard they work to find solutions to the biggest crisis we've ever experienced. And people weren't out there trying to blame others or create a situation of negativity. They all just wanted to come together, partner in conversations with folks that were their direct competitors, an incredible spirit of partnership to see how we could all make it through together. And I think that's been really the through line that I've experienced over this last year, how generous people were with each other, putting profits on the side and worrying about that just so we could all figure out a path forward. So I'm just amazed at all of the content that surrounded that this last year.
And as positive people have been, I've also learned that people are really good at hiding their emotions because there's days, I mean, I look in people's eyes and I know they were close to breaking or they broke or they had really, really bad days. There's a couple of days I came on and you had no idea that I was, seconds from breaking or I had my own episode, of emotion. And I think there's not one person we've had on the show, including me and Glenn and the producers, that didn't have their very close to their breaking point during the year, but we've held it together. And I think one of the things the show helped me is hold it together. And as strong as I am, and people look to me sometimes for insight and strength, I get strength and insight from the show.
And Anthony, you bring up something really important. For the 14 months that I've been on my journey to find, as I call it, my on-ramp back into the industry, you guys have been that rock of staying relevant, trying to stay relevant within an industry that is not hiring a lot of people back. Yes, we have turned the page. Our industry has absolutely turned the page. But when I'm sending out my cover letters and I'm talking to people via interview, I say that I have listened to your show and watched your show and participated in the chat rooms on a daily basis. And I put that in my cover letter, and I actually give them a hyperlink to, your YouTube playlist. So, I'm out there promoting the show as well.
That's awesome.
But it gives me information to talk about. It gives me perspective, and it truly has been where I come to. I'm in Chicagoland, so it's where I come to at 11 o'clock sharp. And watch you guys go live. So I'm really appreciative of
well, thank you. Hopefully you grew with us and you saw that our technical issues got better.
You know what? I don't see technical issues, and I'll bet most people don't. I was a broadcast journalism major in college, and the stuff that we think people can see, they generally don't see it.
Can you see Glenn's funny hat?
I do see his hat, and I didn't realize we were going to be live. Let's say Friday Night Audit. That's awesome,
dude. You have a Friday night hat, but you don't have our show hat. What the hell's wrong with you?
I have to go to a different company because I tried putting our logo through with this company, and it did not look right. Some of the letters are coming out blank.
All right, let me say this, and I mean this sincerely. You suck.
Yeah, I know.
Well, No Vacancy has the mask though. No Vacancy live masks.
Yeah,
we're gonna see what they are.
Those are in my car. Yes.
So while Glenn goes and finds that, Michael, really appreciate you coming on here today. We're talking about no tech issues. Of course, I'm having mic issues today, but we're doing a great job. Michael, thank you so much for coming on, and look forward to seeing you around. Some more questions and comments.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thank you for everything. I look forward to continue. Yep.
Happy kickoff summer weekend.
All right. Well, I hope you guys are really, really enjoying this. Again, feel free to jump on. The link scrolling across the bottom. Producer Suzanne has posted it in the comments. We can post it again in a couple minutes. But Suzanne, who do we have next coming on to the show? Mr. Mike Mcmanus, another great person with questions, comments. Mike, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you, gentlemen?
We're doing
great. Great to see you, man.
Are you going to the golf course? Where are you going?
I know I'm not I'm no longer the best looking guy in the room. It's up to you. But I'm on the road of the Sacramento River, and I was on my way to a hotel, and I heard that I'm on, so be late for a meeting.
So Mike's service is unfortunately breaking up a little bit, so we're going to bring him in the back. We'll bring him back on in a couple seconds to see if that comes through. But it sounds like he said he's going to be late to a meeting because he wanted to take a time to come on with you guys. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah. It's going to give him one quick second to come back on. I see. Looks like he may have figured it out. Hey, Mike, you there, buddy?
Can you hear us, Mike?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
You got a quick question?
Yeah, Mike. So Mike, your service is kind of in and out a little bit. So do you have a quick question you want to ask Anthony or Glenn? All right, buddy. So we're going to let Mike drop off again. Mike's always around. He's a great viewer of the show. Of course, we didn't plan it, or we had this plan, but we didn't tell anybody. So he's on the road. He wasn't prepared, but he did the best he could. He obviously pulled over safely. Yep. And of course, Mike is going to be around in the comments, asking questions, giving great feedback. So he will be around. So we have.
It's so weird.
I'm laughing at David. David's looking at me, and you know what I'm laughing at, David?
What are you laughing at?
Because you're a good host, man. Like, really trying hard. I like it.
I know. Listen, and he's got to work overtime today. He's having his own tech issues to overcome. He's having other people's tech issues to overcome. And David, I see the people coming on backstage, and everybody seems to be having tech issues. They pop on, they pop off, they pop on, they pop off. I don't know what's going on with the internets these days.
So, David, do you have any questions for us? Why people are dealing with their issues?
Well, I was going to say, I have so many questions for you guys, but what I was going to say, sorry, go ahead.
I got one here. Why don't you read this one, Dave?
All right, well, I was going to save that one. Come on, Glenn, you're stealing my thunder. I'm the host, Glenn. Mr. Gordon Storm, Anthony. Anthony, since you don't like very many people being in the hospitality industry, what tactics do you use to remain on to allow people to like you?
I'm never on. I'm authentic. So I like everyone, right? I love people. I love being around people. I love the hospitality industry. I love serving people. That's what I love. I love serving people. I love taking care of people. When I say I don't like people, meaning I don't like bringing people into my life very close because they get, people, it's hard to deal with people. And everybody's got their own issues. So I love people and I like being around people, but I just have very few close friends. And I think when you're in your 50s and 60s, that's what happens. You just keep your friends really, really close. And then you just decide that you're not going to waste your time with people that don't add value. Glenn adds to my life. I don't like when people just take and don't add. So when I say I don't like people, I mean it in that context. But the industry has given me everything. I love the hospitality industry. I love serving people. I'm a servant. I love serving people. I love taking care of people. I love anticipating their needs, and I love what I do. But when it comes to my personal life, I keep just a few people close.
No, there's a lesson there for a lot of people in that, right? There's things. Michael Weinberg, thanks for letting me co-host. What a thrill to speak directly with you guys. Love it, Michael. Thank you for coming on. So let's keep moving forward. We have another great guest in the background. So producer Suzanne, who is next? Oh, nope. Dan was there.
Everyone's got these internet issues today.
As Dan came
You know what? When we were thinking about doing this show, I anticipated these issues, and I didn't care about having these issues because I think it was more important to have people on and then worrying about technical issues. So we can definitely fill the time. I'm not worried about that. So we'll keep trying. What other questions do you have, David?
So I want to talk to you guys. I don't know if we really discussed this, but how did you guys actually come together to start checking in and eventually No Vacancy Live?
Well, let me take that, Glenn. Let me take that.
Yeah, of course.
It's very important to understand. I was in a hotel, and Glenn, like when you open the door to let your room service tray out, Glenn was always there to pick it up, and he was in a room service outfit. And I was like, "You work here? Like every time I open the door, you're out there. What are you doing?" And then one of the things I realized was Glenn was there to just meet me. And then he just said to me, he goes, "Hey, can I have your autograph?" I said, "I don't do autographs." He goes, "Can I have a picture with you?" I said, "Why would I ever want to take a picture with you?" I called the police, and he was arrested. And I felt really bad, and he guilted me into doing the show. That's how we met.
Right. Well, listen, you gave me your choice. You didn't answer any of my calls. You didn't answer any of my letters.
How did we meet? I don't remember. How did we meet?
Well, the first time we did it, you did a speaking meet and greet thing, your first season of Hotel Impossible down at High Tech, which I believe was in Baltimore.
It was. After 4 seasons.
Right, exactly. Right on the wall, right on the bay, or right, and then
and you know the guy from Gurney's Inn, Paul Monty, was in the room, and he refused to come say hello to me.
Oh yeah, right. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
So
Paul Monty was the owner of the first show we've ever done, was our pilot, and I love the Monty family, including Paul, but Paul doesn't like me.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? I mean, these things happen. But what's most important, Anthony, is we got to go do that event, and I just started doing podcasting at my old company. I was just figuring it out. This is my first big shot that I really got to speak to on the microphone. So I got you on the microphone. I had my boss's son was like the co-host of the show, and we're there and we're talking to you, and you were at the point where you were just taking off. It was really cool because I had mentioned some specific things in several episodes, and you're like, "You really watched that? That's cool. Thanks." And then we got into a real wonky discussion about it. It was a whole lot of fun. And then that was about that. And then when I started my own podcast, which incidentally, No Vacancy has its 5-year podcast anniversary next week. How exciting is that?
How are we celebrating?
We'll figure that out. But 6 months into it, I reached out to Anthony. I'm like, hey, let's do a podcast together. I had so much fun doing it with you all those years ago. This is
we're not doing this for 4.5 years.
No, listen. So I had you on. Maybe it wasn't 4.5 years ago. It was 4 years ago. Maybe it was a little while longer.
We've been doing this for 4 years?
No. It'll be 4 years in August is our 4th anniversary on checking in. Yeah. So isn't that incredible? So
wait a second. Hold on a second. You and I have been doing a podcast together this August for 4 years.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way.
No, because I met Glenn in 2018. You guys I met Glenn when you guys were filming a checking in. That's when I first met Glenn. That was the end of 2018.
Years?
What's that?
That's insane.
Yeah, it is insane. So I had you on. You were on your phone. We had a great conversation, and I'm like, dude, that was awesome. You should try it again. He goes, and Anthony's like, I got some free time. Let's do another one. So I recorded another one.
I remember that.
And then a couple of months later, you reached out to me. You said you want to start a podcast. Let's do it together. We started hanging out, and the rest, as they say, is musical podcast.
Yeah, when I first said let's do a podcast, my theory was I was going to help you out, get you some viewers. You were going to help me out to teach me how to do a podcast, right. And then we were going to do our separate podcast. Never did I think. You know what? And I don't ever want to do it alone. I always want to do it with you. I don't ever want my own podcast.
Doing it with
People
you.
say to me all the time, do your own podcast. I don't want to do my own podcast.
As you guys walk over each other.
I was just about to say.
Hey, David, if we want your opinion, we'll give it to you.
Ironically, what I was going to say is we anticipate each other so much. We're really very complimentary in the way that we approach this sort of thing, and it's really great. So it's been nothing but fun working with Anthony and figuring out our formula, then having to reinvent everything during this past year.
And I will say this, seeing you guys on the road, when we're off the show or either at dinner or lunch, we're doing these remotes, the way they are on the show is the exact same way they are in person with each other. They really are just close friends. It just works so well. It's so fun to be around. But we're going to move forward here. We have another guest coming on. So who is my next co-host, producer Suzanne? Ooh. Joshua W. How are you, my friend?
Good. How's everyone doing?
Hey, Joshua. How are you, my friend?
Good. It's so nice to meet
Joshua,
everyone.
Let me start off by congratulating on you sounding much better than producer Dave.
Yes, you totally do. Unfortunately, producer Dave is probably going to be the worst sounding person on the show. But Joshua, where are you coming to us from?
I am currently in Pontiac, Michigan, outside of Detroit.
Cool.
Very nice. Are you currently working in hospitality?
Yes. I've been in hospitality the last couple of years. I currently work for Hilton at an Embassy Suites. I do front desk, but I really am beginning to develop my own hotel brand. So I'm just kind of getting ideas and getting my business plan together. So
that's awesome.
I started my first job was Overland Park, Kansas City, which is the first Embassy Suites ever created, and that was my first job. So I am a very loyal fan of Embassy Suites. So when you say that you're starting your own hotel brand, what does that mean? How are you doing that?
Yeah, so with that, I've just kind of started from scratch, but the name of my hotel brand will be Focus Hotels. The reason why, we would be an upscale limited service hotel brand. with an emphasis on concierge level service because no location would have more than 100 rooms. We would also.
Why are you taking my idea, Joshua?
Hey, great minds think alike. But definitely just building that brand where people are receiving, like I said, that concierge expert level of service that they might not be used to receiving. And also making sure that it's a technologically integrated experience so we know about our guests before they arrive. So giving them the option to, make requests known before they arrive or knowing what their preferences are. And it would also be in a very unique urban walkable location. So it would be in a different neighborhood in different cities. So it would really be an experience as opposed to just.
Did you go to school for hospitality?
I did. I'm actually getting ready to graduate from Arizona State with my bachelor's.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yes.
Well, Joshua, I give you a lot of credit for one, having a good plan, and also for being creative enough or smart enough to watch our show and to get yourself on the show, because now you have friends, and I'm going to put my cell number in the comment box, and now you have my cell number, and you're going to have me as a person that will help you and mentor you through your plan. Now, the number one question I have for you is, how are you going to fund your plan?
Yeah.
Borrow money from Glenn. He's very rich.
Yeah, I'm still just kind of getting off the ground with probably investors. I haven't started reaching out, but I'm really just starting to get the numbers together and making sure that my plan makes sense and that I have a clear vision to present to the right people.
Well, Glenn, we work with different associations that you can probably help Joshua with. Could you give who's that? There's a couple of gentlemen I think of, and a young lady from Atlanta. Why don't you stay in contact with Joshua and give him that information?
Joshua, I'm going to put my number backstage as well for you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Oh, Josh, so great job coming on. Look at you making contacts. That's awesome, Josh. Really
I know.
appreciate it. So listen.
Wait, that is the most important. I don't mean to interrupt you, David, but that is the most important thing that I'm trying to teach, and Glenn's trying to teach, and this show's trying to teach, is that take your shot. You took your shot. You got on here. You now have my cell number. You have Glenn's cell number. If you use my number, I will get back to you. If you don't, I won't. But that's how you get opportunity. That is how you meet people.
Yep.
You can graduate from a great college like you are. You can get great grades. You can work in a great hotel. You can have a great plan. But it's not what you know till you know. So the best thing you've done is to be able to get contacts like Glenn and I. Not because we're that smart, but we know everyone in the industry. So we can get you to have, and everybody wants to talk to you. Trust me. Everybody in the industry wants to talk to young, aggressive hospitality folks.
Oh, especially these days. And Joshua, I'm a little bit envious of where you are, because you're just starting out at the greatest time that we're going to go into in hospitality. You're going to be so beyond that front desk job before you know it. So good luck. I'm so excited.
And we've been talking about in this show, if you follow us a lot, Joshua, what we talk about is there are not enough people that look like you in our industry. They all look like middle-aged white guys. So that you're up and coming, it is so important to have everyone represented. So if we can do anything to help you and to kind of start tearing down some of these ceilings and these walls, I'd love to be working for you one day in your brand, and you can hire me. I'm not as expensive as Glenn, but I'm a little expensive.
Well, I've got a bad sushi habit, so what are you going to do?
You have a bad what? Sushi habit? What do you
Sushi. Well, Joshua, really appreciate you coming on. Listen, take those numbers down, get in contact with Glenn, get in contact with Anthony. I really applaud you for coming on.
What question do you have for us, Joshua?
Sorry, I got so wrapped up in your world, Joshua. I apologize. What question do you have for Anthony or Glenn?
I mean, honestly, I first of all love Hotel Impossible growing up. That was really it pushed me into hotels. It really did.
So tell me about that. I always love hearing that. So Hotel Impossible was instrumental in you getting into the industry?
Because it really taught me different parts of the industry, and just how not easy running hotels are. And I can see, because of course I've worked for Hilton, I've worked for Marriott, I've worked for Staybridge. I've worked, with different hotel brands, and I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. Just really being able to be that person who sharpens iron with iron. Being able to have my own personal experiences, but my own professional experiences, and just being able to watch professionals like you just doing your job every day. It really just gives me
So
confidence.
Joshua, it makes me emotional. I actually got tears in my eyes. Make sure we stay in touch. To know that I helped you get into the industry, that you were motivated by that. That's the reason we did the show. That's the reason we continue to do things like this. And it's really a blessing to hear those words. So truly appreciate it.
Certainly.
Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Joshua.
I
Really
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck and congratulations on graduation again.
Thank you.
If I don't have a text from you in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to be upset.
I'm texting you right now.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
How cool was that?
All right, let me break in here with something. I'm tearing up. The first time ever. Anthony, that makes me so freaking happy that people's lives are affected and put in a specific direction because of the good work that you were doing on that TV show. That is so incredible and meaningful. And it just makes me so happy.
And what makes me think is, because I've heard that before, but
yeah,
to hear it from such a young man that really is excited. How many people has this show touched? If we just met one, to know that not only that show, but this show touches people, because this industry is just not well represented into the regular kind of street. Just what do you want to do when you grow up? No one says, I want to be a hotel general manager. So maybe now, because of this show, maybe say, hey, I want to be in the hotel business. I want to be a cop. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. I want to be in the hotel business. If I hear kids say that at 7, 8, 9 years old, I mean, what else is there in life? I mean, what else do you want? I mean, power, money, glory. If I can get somebody in this industry and be successful, I mean, that's all I want.
Maybe we need to change the name of general manager to like astronaut or something like that.
No, I think general manager now means something. I think the hospitality industry means something. And I was told by someone, I won't say who, but a very, and let's just say one of the best programs in the world, that they saw a noticeable increase in applications to the hospitality industry once Hotel Impossible was on the air. I mean, there's nothing greater than hearing that.
Nothing greater. That's awesome.
I mean, and look at Colleen's story, right? Colleen was a big fan of Hotel Impossible. She comes here every day, and she's learned so much, and it's really been a way for her to, be involved.
Yeah, it would be interesting, David, if you would learn something.
I know. One day I'll learn how to get.
All right, we're going to do extensive plugging in mic lessons this weekend.
I know. There's just so much.
One of the things we talked about yesterday is one of the things that I hear, and Glenn, you said it, and I've heard it recently from people I'm surrounding myself with in business, is the high standards. And yesterday we talked about the graphic, and that I want to make sure the graphic was perfect. And I said no and no and no and no, and high standards are so freeing. Because when you have high standards, if you fail, you don't care because your standards were so high.
Right.
If somebody quits because you have high standards, you don't care because you didn't want them to begin with.
Yep.
If people are keeping up with you and then surpassing you and surpassing your high standards, that's where you want to be. So there's probably no compliment that I appreciate and respect more than when I hear people say, I try to live up to your high standards, because you're not trying to live up to my higher standards. You're trying to live up to the standards that we all set for ourselves, right? That we like when we had the first couple of on location podcasts, and we basically blew ourselves up. Now, It wasn't about you being nervous because I was upset. It was about you being nervous because you didn't want to look like an idiot, and I didn't want to look like an idiot.
Exactly. I can't stand it. I can't stand when things go wrong.
So high standards isn't about me. High standards is about we don't wake up in the morning to be second.
Right. That's right.
Like when you say we're in the top 0.5% of podcasts, and that's exciting, and I say it a lot, but you know what? That's where I expect to be. I don't expect to be. If we were in the bottom, I wouldn't be doing the show anymore.
That's right.
That little thing motivates me to keep doing it, because I don't want to be in the top 10%. I want to be in the top 0.5%.
Right.
And I think that's what keeps you guys fresh every day too, right? I mean, you guys are doing this show every day, Monday through Thursday, for over a year now, and every day you guys come with the same energy, the same passion, the same excitement, and it translates. It definitely translates.
It's not work, and that's one of the things that people have to understand. This isn't work. I have never come to this desk looked in this camera and said, "Oh, I gotta do the show." Never once. But that's really true about my whole career. I can't ever remember walking into a show, whether it be Hotel Impossible, whether it be a hotel, whether it be anything I've ever done in my career, and go, "Oh, that's not true." There's one job I had. I won't name it, but I literally wanted to get by a cab every day I went to work.
We've all had those kind of jobs. Dave, we got more people backstage.
Yeah, no, we got a ton of people backstage. I want to get them on because we're coming up on time already. The show's going so fast. So Jesse Mcmullen, welcome to the show. Thank you for being my co-host. We lost Jesse.
He was backstage for
he was backstage the entire time.
I know.
You know what I love about Jesse?
Wait. He's coming back. He's coming back.
That's Mario. I want to see that.
There he is.
How are you guys doing?
I was a very stressful moment there, Jesse. I didn't know what was going to happen next.
I hit the back button to get out of the chat. I was like,
so Jesse, I see a name tag. Where are you working?
I am the sales manager at Homewood Suites in Christiansburg, Virginia, with Milestone Development.
Awesome.
Wow. All right. Well, thanks for watching the show and thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
How did you find the show and why do you watch it?
So I've don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. I've never seen a single episode of Hotel Impossible.
I like that.
I got in this job by being promoted by being a night auditor. Right. And when I was sitting here and I was thinking, I was like, all of my friends who work in hospitality are talking about this podcast. And I was like, I finally need to go and check it out. And my friend EJ he works at the Ritz-Carlton South Beach in Miami. I've tried to get him to get on here as well. And lo and behold, like there's no other hospitality podcasts. It's just you guys who are mainstreaming everything. And you guys are popular and everyone talks about you guys. And it's good. It's good vibes. And you guys put so much information out that it's actually hard for someone like me who's just getting into the hotel business, it's really hard to conceptualize everything you guys are talking about. But for me, it's just great information, especially from you guys. It helps a lot, and you guys give me accurate information, which sometimes is hard to find in the hotel industry.
You know what? What's great? I'm glad you're saying that because. And I'm glad you never watched the show, because it tells us that this show stands by itself. And this show's just as much, if not more, about Glenn than it is about me. And it's because Glenn truly knows the questions to ask. He knows the people to have on the show. And just because he's never worked in the hotel business doesn't mean he is not only the best person to host this podcast, but he's the only person I can ever think about is doing the show with me because he's more knowledgeable about this industry than me. And then you can see in the questions that we have with the guests that I can drill down to questions that Glenn wouldn't know how to ask.
No clue.
Like I wouldn't know how to ask some of the questions he asks because to be honest with you, I don't give a shit about half the stuff he talks about because that's kind of over. Like I don't care about the corporate stuff because I'm not a corporate guy, but it's so important for me to learn and it's so important for our audience to hear.
Absolutely. I agree. The corporate, I like when you guys say, I will leave this blank. I will not mention whose name this is because I like to keep my head buzzing as well as to think of who you guys are talking about, whether it's a brand, whether it's a particular person. Right. But the two shows that stood out to me the most, as long as I've been watching you guys for about a year now, was the Jerry Anzarello. That one was awesome. And then please don't get mad at me. The gentleman who is, I believe, from Texas, but has a French accent. The Pierre in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
Francois.
When Anthony and him were going back and forth discussing, oh, yeah, it's good enough. And you wanted to see the look on his face when he's like, oh, yeah, it's good enough. I was like, you know what? That's really good because a lot of people, and it happens, and especially in our industry, there are people who shoot for good enough, and to really see how much passion that particular individual, Francois, has in his hotel, in his staff, and to not only make things less of an expense and more of an experience.
Well, you know what? That is an incredible takeaway, and thank you for mentioning that because, when I said it to him, right? when you surround yourself with the best people, when you surround yourself with people that have high standards, talking about high standards, you ask that question, you know his response. Like, I didn't ask that question afraid he wasn't going to answer the way I thought he was going to answer. When you're at that level, and he's one of the best general managers on planet Earth, okay, working at the highest level with no net, okay, because not only you're dealing with unions in New York and you're dealing with investors and you're dealing with guests, but you're dealing with it at the highest level of anticipating people's needs. And when he responded that way, that's what I want people to take away. If you're not around someone next to you that's got your back, then you shouldn't be around that person. And what if him and I went to run a hotel together, we would talk in half sentences because he's got my back, because he understands that good enough. It's like, don't even, like, I'll slap you. Don't even talk about that. And so that you took that away, hopefully that helps you in your, to never settle for people around you. And I always say, people say, I work around so-and-so and they don't have high standards. Then fire yourself. Give yourself permission to fire yourself. And I've done that many times where it's like, you know what, Anthony, you're fired. I'm out. And you have to do that because you will never grow. So thank you so much for saying that.
Of course.
That's awesome.
Of course.
That's something I took away from that show as well, Jesse. So I actually pulled that clip out and I actually watch that myself every so often. I think it's such a great, great clip. So Jesse, before we let you go, any questions you have for Glenn or Anthony?
Yes. Like I mentioned earlier, I started off as a night auditor. I've worked in hospitality and restaurants for the best part of my life. Dropped out of college with the aspirations to start a company and went ahead and did so. And now I found myself working in restaurants and hotels. My question for you guys is how do I get to the big leagues? You guys know so many great people who work in Vegas and Moscow and Barcelona and the Maldives. Yep. I mean, granted, I've spent 2 years as a night auditor, and this is coming up on my 2-year anniversary as a sales manager. I don't see myself exiting the hotel realm anytime soon. And for me, it's exciting, and it's the career that I like a lot. If I do see myself wanting to move up, there are people like you guys to ask for how to get to the next level, where I need to put myself in positions to get to the next level.
Well, I just texted my cell number, or just put my cell number in the private chat. So please send me your text and we'll stay in contact. This is what I suggest you do. I suggest you look for a job in an area you really, really like working in. That you say, hey, that's a hotel I would like to work in. This is the kind of position I would like. But more important than the position, I just want to work in this kind of hotel in this environment. And I don't care. I'll take any job. Look for those jobs. Text me those jobs. And then let me see if I know anybody. And, in interviewing you in 30 seconds, because basically I'm interviewing you now, I could tell you're a person I want on my team. I would hire you tomorrow. There's something about you. There's something about you that speaks to me. You're honest. You look me in the eye, and you want to learn. And plus, you're a night auditor. I started as a night auditor, and if you're successful as a night auditor and never get caught sleeping, you're good.
Plus, you can tell he's very interested in learning and being a great professional because he's learning and focused on that every single day.
And nowadays, you can wear a beard and not get fired.
Yes. I had worked in one profession where the general manager looked at me and was like, you got to earn that beard. So next time I see you on opening day, that better be gone. And that's what I had to do. I shaved my face clean. And luckily at that time, the hair had stayed up here and now it's migrated down here.
No, but that's interesting. It's interesting because it's true. Like, you can't really do that legally, but it's true. It's like, I like people, like, especially growing up in the industry, it's like, sit there, do what I tell you to do, and look a certain way and shut up, right? That's how we grew up in this industry. It's like, sit over there and shut up. And if you got up for like more than 10 minutes, like, where the hell did you go? Why'd you move? Whereas now it's like, hey man, just come as you are, just be passionate, enjoy yourself. I don't care if you have a beard or not. But back in the day, like, that's right, you have to earn that beard.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
Jesse,
like earning your tiger stripes.
Yeah.
Jesse, really, really appreciate you coming on with us today. Take note of that number from Anthony and use that resource because he is someone that's great to have in your back, having your back. So
and where are you? You said you're in Virginia?
Yes, I'm in Christiansburg, Virginia, which is caught between Radford University and Virginia Tech.
How far is that from Williamsburg?
4.5 hour, Williamsburg, like Virginia Beach area.
But I don't know. One of my partners has a management company in Williamsburg, so maybe
Yeah.
do something there. So definitely, and hope nobody that you work with is watching this show, because then they'll know you're looking for a job.
Yeah. You're just looking for growth and career opportunities.
Looking for networking. We're networking here. That's what this is all about, right? We just had Joshua networking. Now we have Jesse networking. So
Glenn and David just jumped on top of that to save you.
we got you, Jesse. Jesse, thanks so much, buddy. Really, really appreciate your time today. Thank you. Stay watching the show. So,
hey,
really
Dave, before we get on to our next guest, I don't know about you guys, but I can stick around for a little bit longer. I've got a call at the bottom of the hour, but I can stick around because I see some people backstage. So
I can stick around for probably about 10 minutes over.
Yeah, we have a couple more on. So we're gonna finish up with these great people in the back. So producer Suzanne, who do we have next? Michelle MacArthur.
Oh, there she is.
You're on mute, Michelle. You're on mute, Michelle.
You're
so
on
just
mute.
Pop off that mute real quick.
Sorry.
Welcome.
Hey, guys.
Welcome. Now, Michelle.
So great to see you.
You were backstage for a little while, so of course you are another great contributor to the show. Great questions, great content. Thank you so much for coming on and being my co-host, because I'm running out of ideas here. Need your help. What do you have for Anthony and Glenn today?
Okay, well, I'm always just, a wealth of information, I like to say sometimes. I'm a little zoomed out today, so give me a
Michelle,
little
you're
break.
in the industry.
Well,
You're in the industry.
so it's okay.
Michelle, you're in the industry?
I am in the industry. It's in my DNA. I'm for those that don't know me, my name's Michelle Maynard MacArthur. I'm a hospitality, health, and wellness strategist, and I help people with guiding them to bring a lean approach, a holistic healing approach from the inside out. And that's lifestyle, exercise, attitude, and nutrition. And here's the kicker, taking and showing them to those top luxury destinations all over the world.
Wow.
But yeah. And so, hotelier, it's in my DNA for probably 23 of my 33 years in the industry. I started as a sales and catering secretary and just kind of worked my way up all the way.
So, Michelle, let me ask you a question before you ask us questions. Because I've learned as I get older, and I'm realizing I got to take better care of myself. And I've always taken relatively good care of myself. I'm getting frustrated. And I'm going to ask you this, and maybe you can answer it for me.
Uh-oh.
Why don't people eat healthier and exercise? I need to know.
It's a mindset.
Why do our brains tell us to sit on the couch when it theoretically wants us to stay alive?
Because you got to retrain. You got to retrain those habits in the mind. And, that conversation can go into a totally different place, into the Chinese medicine that I do, where I talk about organs. So that would answer your question, Anthony. Why don't you? It's about really reframing your mind and breaking old habits, developing the new. And if you look into the hospitality of where we go.
Michelle, it's so hard. Everybody says it's so hard. I'm so busy. I have kids. I'm running to work. It's so hard. You don't understand. That's all I hear.
Your health is your wealth. Where do you want to be down the road? Do you want to be humped over, foggy brain, as far as not having mental clarity or focus or no energy? Or do you want to have the opposite of that?
Right.
As far as
it's so funny because I've been eating clean for a couple of years now. And every once in a while, sometimes more than once in a while, I'll go have a Big Mac or I'll have a breakfast sandwich from, Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's. And because I eat so clean, I realize, okay, I'm going to deal with fog today. And I'm just going to deal with it. But I want it. I'm going to eat it. And that's okay. When you're eating unhealthy all the time, like I was for a long time, I was always foggy and I didn't know it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, we are what we eat, but it is about things in moderation. I tell people, if you want to drink an alcoholic beverage, go for the Chateau Lafite Rothschild, unless you don't want to pay $1,000 for a bottle, or a good vodka that's, if you want to do something in moderation and have something that's very fermented or junk, know what your junk is that you want to feed yourself so that you can, enjoy it, but then go back to being balanced and having that moderation.
Where do you stand on crack? That's a good diet aid for me.
Where's the box?
Oh, you guys.
Where's the box?
So, Michelle, why do you watch the show?
Well, when the pandemic hit, so my past life is in as a hotelier. I took off that sales and marketing hat as a VP, director of sales and marketing from a hotel and leading that. And then I went into booking groups, right, as a event planner. And then my why is in health and wellness. So when the pandemic,
you know, if somebody said, Anthony, all your money, what does Michelle do for a living? Was she ever a vice president of sales for a hotel? I would put it all on yes.
Why did I start watching the show? Anthony, on some of the days that I'd come back from the hotel and I was so tired and I just needed to kind of just regress and relax, I would go on your show. But when the pandemic hit, I was with coaches and they were saying, focus on health and wellness, focus on immunity for life, forget about hospitality. And I was like, my brain doesn't work that way. And my brain would go like this. It's like, I can't forget about it. It's in my DNA. And lo and behold, your show, you guys pop up and y'all are all about this. And so I told the world, well, hospitality is going to be what I do to help people and my philanthropic. And I'm going to see, because hospitality is never going to go away. It's just about what it is. So then I had fun. It's like an hour for me to see what is it that you guys are about to do. What am I going to laugh about? But most importantly, it was how you guys give back and what you guys do for what you're doing for people, not just in your bubble, but around the world. And that's what our job is. And that's what it is about, because it's paying it forward. It is about making a difference for those generations to come. It is about making sure that we are giving back and we're helping. We're not just a mentor. We have a mentee, but we're giving of ourselves and our passion. And that's what you guys are doing today. So I rescheduled something to jump on.
Oh,
that's like Mike, who was late to his meeting. But I'll go on top of that, Michelle. Colleen kind of alluded to it when she was on. There's also a community that's kind of developed around the show, right? With people in the comments and in the sections that have come together and talked to each other and have checked up on each other. I was talking to Colleen earlier, and she was telling me about another viewer who reached out to her with some stuff, and they've connected. So it's really great to see how this show has evolved and brought so many people together based around hospitality. But Michelle, again, you're my co-host. What question do you have for Anthony or Glenn?
Okay, well, I'm going to make it in a twofold, because one, I want to know, how can I better serve you guys? I'm all across in a lot of different areas and platforms. What can I do to better serve you, to better serve, your people is number one. So I'm throwing a question back at you.
Well, I'll answer that question really quickly. Get with Dave, book a session on our show, and we'll interview you for an hour, and you can tell us how we could better help the hospitality industry. And then hopefully clients will call you and contact you. And so, listen, you've been a loyal fan, you've earned your right to be a guest on our show, like full time, in my opinion.
I would love that. The next thing, I would be honored. I would definitely.
So, Glenn, are you okay with that? If you're not, you're an idiot.
No. Yeah, right.
In front of everybody.
Yeah, no, Anthony. Hell. Michelle, we gotta keep moving along.
Michelle, we'll connect together on that. We'll get something set up. So I'll reach out to you. You reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. Pretty easy to find. So we'll get together and we'll get that set up real soon.
And what was your other question?
My other question is, tell me about, this is one big question that I love asking people.
You get two more questions because Glenn's like running out of time.
Listen, I know I got to the bottom of the hour. I got a luxurious 26 minutes here to talk to Anna and Aaron backstage. So I'm cool, but you were the one who 7 minutes ago said you could stick to about 10 minutes every hour.
10 minutes.
But you're meeting, oh God.
Oh, Suzanne.
When I said keep moving, gotta go, got appointments.
Right.
Yes.
So Michelle, what's your second question?
Who are three people in the world that, and we'll just go because of time, each of you say three people in the world that has had the most influence to you of who you are today, personal or professional?
Glenn, why don't you start that one?
My mom, my wife, and my kids.
Okay.
I don't know if that sounds a little right or no, but honestly, really, all of those people have helped shape me as I was growing up. then becoming an adult, and now as I'm growing older and how I perceive the universe because of my kids?
I will say all three of those in one. My mother, my children, and my wife, that's all in one. But then Colonel Hallam's in the military, Colonel Kenning in the military, that's again one for me. Colonel Wagner, very influential. And I would say for the hospitality, I would say Eric Long at the Waldorf, simply because I watched Eric and I watched what a high level he did it. And he never really put himself out there, never really wanted a lot of accolades, but he worked 24/7. And I learned two things from Eric. One, what I wanted and what I didn't want. And I didn't want to live in the Waldorf Astoria 24/7 for 20 years. I didn't want that life. I wanted an outside life. But I did want what he obtained. I did want that level, that status, that ability to really run a first-class hotel. So those are the people that influenced me.
I love it.
Love it. Michelle, thank you so much for being a great supporter. We'll be in contact shortly with you, or we'll be in connection shortly. And keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Oh.
Well, that was rude, bro. Bring her back.
That wasn't me.
Glad I'm so glad for once.
And I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate it. The reason I did stay on is because Anthony, you being an Air Force guy, that's true to my heart. And the other reason that I've stayed with you guys is because y'all are real and you're transparent, authentically talking the truth. So
thank you.
Thank you.
And I apologize for my quick trigger there, Michelle. My quick trigger finger there, Michelle. I apologize. But really moving along quickly. I want to say really quick, Daniel said he was trying to get on. He wasn't able to. So, Daniel, we see you. Thank you for the effort. But, producer Suzanne, who do you have next? Aaron Walker.
Hey.
Mr. Walker, welcome to the show.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for having me. Like most of the guests before me and after me, I've been a huge fan of the show, the podcast, the videos, everything in between. Just to go right into it, I didn't really hear about No Vacancy Podcast until midway through the pandemic, where I was traveling back and forth. Well, obviously laid off, traveled back and forth to my sister's house, and I'm connected through LinkedIn, and it just pops up at 12 noon every single Monday through Thursdays. No Vacancy News on No Vacancy. Oh, okay, let me try this on. Let me see. And between No Vacancy News, the Friday Night Audit, I know, Glenn, you see my comments here and there once often. And there you go. I'm currently, actually, I'm on my lunch break right now as a revenue auditor at Mcmullen Live Casino.
Where? Which casino?
Mcmullen Live.
Oh,
Mcmullen Live. We know Mcmullen Live very well.
I listen to the show.
You work as an auditor at Mcmullen Live?
Yes. When I was laid off as a reservations manager at the Embassy Suites in Baltimore in the Harbor, and obviously between March and October, I applied, turned down, and this was the only position that was available that hired me. So
it's a great company, though. It's a great company.
Absolutely. I love it.
And Aaron, all you need to do is peek into the poker room once in a while. You may see me there. I play poker there.
Good to know. I'll probably end up seeing my girlfriend's parents too. Don't say anything. But my passion is still hotels and hospitality management. I have a master's degree in hotel business management from the University of Delaware.
Wow.
In 2016. Bachelor's degree from Morgan State in 2014. As Michelle said, my passion is in hotels. My career then, now, and hopefully forever is in the hotel industry.
That's awesome.
And whether I started as a dishwasher to a hotel operator, front office supervisor, sales assistant, reservation manager, even now, I'm still looking.
Well, you're in a good location. Working for Live, you're in a good location. So let me give you advice, because I know everybody's short on time here, but let me give you advice. Do a little bit more at Live. Work really, really hard. They're growing. They're going to need really good, successful people. Keep yourself a few years. Make sure you're at that hotel doing what you do. Try to get promoted. Go for positions, because that hotel, that company is growing so much that will get you to bigger and better things in your future. But just do a little bit more, you go a lot further.
Absolutely. I know they just opened up a property in Philadelphia. There may be one. I'm not sure about one in Richmond. But like you said, just keep the ears to the ground and see what happens from there.
Right.
Yep,
Just work your ass off.
So, Aaron, any questions for Anthony or Glenn?
So the only question I have, since I have about 10 minutes on my lunch break left, so for someone like me who's in the middle between an entry-level associate, I have more experience than most entry levels, most newly graduates, and not enough experience for, department heads. I'm trying to get into management, specifically reservations, revenue management, the more analytical stuff. I'm assuming David knows what I'm talking about. How can, besides being a revenue auditor, how can I use my experience so far, reservations manager, front office supervisor, to get that extra push into being a reservations manager or even a revenue manager?
I will tell you, the only thing that works is work really, really hard and make sure your boss and your boss's boss loves you. And if they don't, because you don't like them and you're not getting along with them, leave and go find a place that you really feel comfortable in and get promoted that way. There is no shortcut. You have to get out of your mind. This is my opinion. Do whatever you want. That you have to, like, you have a master's degree, you're highly educated, you have experience. So what? Doesn't matter. Work your ass off. Get your bosses to fall in love with you. Get promoted. Okay. And again, one of the things in our industry that I'm sick and tired of seeing is I'm sick and tired of seeing middle-aged white guys run the show. Okay. So we need people that come from all different backgrounds that look like you, look like me to do work. So just break your ass, work hard. There's no substitute. Don't complain and don't say, well, that person got the job and I should have got the job. Keep your eyes open and impress everybody around you and don't complain. The one thing that I have literally just kind of walked away from a lot of people is they're complaining. Everybody knows me, knows this. Work really, really hard. I don't care how hard you're working. I don't care how many hours you're working. And then all of a sudden I care. That's when I pay attention. But you have to prove yourself. You have to keep working hard and don't complain. And if you are going to complain and you're unhappy, leave. That to me is the greatest. That is never taken me down the wrong path. I've worked hard my whole life and shut up. And when I didn't enjoy the people I worked with, I left.
Awesome, Aaron. Great question. Feel free to reach out to me as well. I'd love to talk to you as well. We can share some stories, share some ideas. So check me on LinkedIn.
And Aaron, my cell number is in the private chat. Please use it. Please text me.
Absolutely. You'll see a text message from me within the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Aaron. Listen, guys, make sure you guys go.
See you Friday, Glenn.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Aaron. Make sure you guys all go back and check the the Maryland Live episode that we did a while back. It was a great one. Learn more about Aaron's property. But we have our last guest coming on here, my last co-host, I should say, producer Suzanne. Who do we have? Miss Anna Patch. Anna, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
November 11th, we ran that show. Anna, great to see you.
Producer Glenn, Johnny on the spot over here. Anna, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be on. I'm actually new to the show. I just started watching you guys probably about a month ago, but I've enjoyed every day of it. It has been my adult time while my son's in school. So it's been a nice little hour or so to just.
Have you been in the hospitality industry?
No, I am not. I actually run an upholstery shop here in Thailand.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Well, you know what? Upholstery shop, one of my favorite scenes I've ever shot was in 5 Star Secrets, and I went to a hotel in West Virginia. What's that fancy hotel in West Virginia? I always forget the name.
The one with the bunker.
Yeah. You're as good as I am. Someone will tell us.
This is 50.
And I walked into the upholstery shop, and they had the greatest.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, and the Greenbrier, and they had the greatest upholstery shop because most of the design is from this famous designer. Again, can't remember the name. And that was to me the most fun, one of the most fun things I've ever, because I didn't even know, being in the industry 35 years, I didn't realize how important having upholstery redone in a hotel, especially first class hotel, is.
Right. And I do on occasion reupholster pieces for hotels, but I actually would like to get into designing pieces eventually. I'm a small business. I'm my only employee, so I do work for people locally. Like I said, on occasion, reupholstering pieces for hotels, but I'd like to go bigger. I have ideas.
Well, you know how you do that? Find really good purveyors to hotels and start, sending them pieces and showing up on their doorstep. And, it always works with me when people like give me a present, like with my logo on it or something. So if you want to get my attention, like if you walked into my lobby and you said, hey, I upholstered this chair for your lobby because I think it would look great, like you'd have all my business.
And that's why I wanted to join the show. I am such an introvert. I went back and forth. Do I want to get on or not? And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask some questions, talk about upholstery, because I know that is relevant in the industry.
Oh, it's critically irrelevant. I mean, ask Glenn what my rooms look like.
Anthony does not know what upholstery feels like because there's always a towel between him and it.
Well, Anna, that's really awesome that you even came on, because again, being a self-proclaimed introvert, it can be a big step to step out and come on a public show like this. So, Anthony was saying before, this is a great opportunity for people to get on and show themselves. So kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you.
What questions you have for us?
Really just like you were saying, what can I do to get the attention of hotels within my industry? Like I said, I know I'm a small business, but I do want to grow. I do have ideas.
Right.
I've got a lot of designs. I'm always drawing and sketching, and I just want to get myself out there. So what would you suggest I do other than upholstering a chair for your lobby? What else could I do?
Well, Glenn has a lot of contacts, and I'm sure that he'll share with you. But this is what I would say right now, and I learned this yesterday because I learn every day on the show. Right now, most hoteliers use their capital that they were going to use for a PIP, which is property improvement plan, or for renovations. They used it on staying alive, keeping the hotel alive. So there's a lot of hotels that are starting to have wear and tear, and they're not going to be able to afford to renovate their hotels and change their furniture. So they're going to be looking into affordable ways to upholster their furniture to keep the ball moving. And if you get one hotel, one hotel can have 100 rooms, and if you get one chair, you get one of their living room chairs or their bedroom chairs, that could keep you busy for a little while, being a small business. So that's how I would. So I think it's very necessary. So Glenn, what advice do you have?
Listen, I'm an introvert, right? I know it's hard for you to believe that, but introverts can get out there, they can do stuff, and then you retreat and you go and you recharge. The more you put yourself out there, the more opportunities you are going to create. Anthony's idea about getting out there and having a logo on products and stuff like that makes a lot of sense, because that shows off your work while also getting you into a face-to-face scenario with the type of people. So you've got to fight it. I just did somebody's podcast the other day where half the show was me talking about how scared I was to jump into things at first. Now you just have to keep doing that and doing that. And the more that you do it, the less it becomes freak out opportunity, and the more it just becomes opportunity. So
and Glenn, if you can give her your cell number, and Anna, he'll give you a list of, because he knows all the shows I don't. All the best shows that wouldn't be a waste of your time.
Right. Where did you make her, Anna? What part of the country? Where? You totally blanked out on that. Where?
Down for a second. I can hear you now.
All right. Where are you from again?
I'm in Tyler, Texas.
Tyler, Texas. The reason why I ask you that is because in Las Vegas, August 24th, 25th is HD Expo. It could be the 23rd, could be the 20th, whatever, that week. Go to hdexpo.com.
Okay.
They didn't convene last year, but they're back at Mandalay Bay this year. That is the #1 design trade show that you need to be concerned about. You can go and meet with all of the different furniture manufacturers and get your name out there. Have photographs of some of the great stuff that you do. If I happen to get out there, maybe I can introduce you to some people as well.
Anna, I will be out there. I'm actually working with Hilton. I'm going to be a judge on their panel as I have been. So that is a great show to be at, and I'll be there. And I'm a little bit kind of at these shows he's not an introvert. I am. But he knows more people than I do, but I will absolutely introduce you. And what I would do is I would do something that gets my attention. And I don't know what that is. The first thing I'm thinking about is like little ottoman or something, that just something that gets my attention. Having pictures and having a card or something is kind of cool, but I would do something that's a little bit more creative and to get people's attention. But hey, we're here for you. So if we can help you in any way, shape, or form, start with your local hotel. Knock on the door of your local hotel. I know Tyler, Texas. I actually did some consulting for a gentleman in Tyler, Texas at the Holiday Inn Express, I believe. So knock on the door and say, hey, I have an upholstery company. I'd like to work with you. Are you guys thinking about renovate? And what I would do is I would go online to around your area, look for the hotels that, not the worst hotels, because they never have any money and they're going to want to basically, rip you off. But the hotels that not are the best hotels, but kind of in the top 10, I guess, the top 10 best hotels, and see if they have a need for you, because those people want to stay relevant and they may need to upholster their furniture.
That sounds great. I will do that, Anthony. Thank you so much.
Anna, thank you so much for coming on with some great questions, and really from a different industry, the upholstery industry, and how it all kind of comes together. So thank you, Anna. Really appreciate you, and looking forward to seeing you in the comments and watching the show.
So much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Anna.
Thanks, Anna.
Hey, David, can I make fun of you?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Thanks, Anna. Thank you so much for being a great guest. Truly appreciate it. Have a great day.
Well, I'm trying to keep this light from shining
into
the
you're
camera.
Very good. You're very good. You're like Casey Kasem.
Right. Yeah, well, is that? I'm not sure. Is that, maybe I'm a little bit too tight then. But listen, I know we got. No,
Casey Kasem is the greatest person ever. I love Casey.
That's all right. That's right. I do want to say this before we head towards wrap up. Anthony, your ideas about getting attention. When I was at the Hunter Hotels investment conference a few weeks ago in Atlanta, there was this young guy there. I didn't know who he was, and I suspect a lot of people didn't. He wore a little sandwich board thing over his thing, and it said, "Ask me about CMBS loans." So that's, the CMBS loan issue is a big deal right now. I thought that was a great way to get people's attention.
Did he get people's attention?
He got my attention. I mean, I don't care about those loans because I'm not in the hotel business per se. So, but whatever. So I'm sure he did. I mean, it's there, it's effective, and a lot quicker cutting through than what do you do? What do you do?
Well, you know what's interesting is, and I didn't realize until we were just talking about it, and you said sandwich board. I wanted to build my own company, my own brand. I wanted to stop making rich people richer. I want to kind of help people learn the industry, and I want my own brand. Mm-hmm. So I could market myself. I could do a lot of different things, but I didn't have millions and millions of dollars to do that. So a little bit more, I went a lot further. I wrote a TV show.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I was in over 100 countries, and I traveled around the world just because it took me, with me and my partner Leo and Lynn Rossi, it took us a couple hours, wrote a treatment, took us a little while, and before we knew it, we did a little bit more. We went a lot further, and we had a TV show. So when people look at this, it's like this was not only I wanted to teach people, but it was for me to build my brand, and it kind of worked.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I love that story.
So always lessons are within that, within the billboard sign. It's really just great stuff. So guys, thank you so much for being the guest today on your own show.
Thank you guys for being the guest.
Have a good time.
Show.
What else am I supposed to do here? You know what? I'm going to put the graphic on. Make sure you guys check out at Anthony Hotels, at Traveling Glenn on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, LinkedIn. Follow, hit the bell, No Vacancy Live. Make sure you get notified every time we come with some new content. And of course, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. We're going to be back next Tuesday.
Suzanne, come in.
Suzanne.
I want to thank both of you. You guys are so loyal and so hardworking. And, you make this show what it is. I show up and talk. You guys and Glenn really make it happen. I know I said it before. I'll say it again. I can't appreciate you anymore.
Well, thank you. It's fun. It's fun to have been a fan and now doing it on the backside and helping out and learning and meeting and networking with everyone. So you make it fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys
have a great weekend, everyone.
All right, guys, have a great Memorial Day weekend. We're back Tuesday live with Glenn and Anthony in their respective chairs hosting the show, and
with the TSA. So if any of you guys have any problems traveling this weekend, drop me a line. I got an inside scoop with them.
Enjoy your weekend, guys. Thank you.
Don't talk over